Hello, hello, welcome everybody. Okay, I think I'm supposed to begin. This is my first time hosting. Welcome to Daily Antidote of Song. Today is day 1533. Are we good, Joe? Is everybody in? Okay, here we go. So my name is Moon Clemetson. I'm excited to be hosting for you today. We have Candace, um, Aaron, and Bryn on tech. And we have Doe Hoyer, who's an amazing friend and song leader in Minneapolis. Just want to say a gratitude, thanks to Carpe Diem Arts for making this possible. And welcome all of the people on Facebook and YouTube who are watching the live stream. And let's see, okay, we've got so many beautiful faces here. We've got Dan Walker from Vienna, Sue Miller from Seattle. We have, um, let's see, we've got Hoda from British Columbia, Trish, Victoria, Linda from the Orcas Island. Apologies if I don't say your names correctly. We have Aloysius from Massachusetts. Um, might need an apology there, I'm sorry. Caroline from DC, Sheila from Florida, Storm from Massachusetts, Bonnie Boyce, Deli from Maryland, Becky from Vancouver. We have Elizabeth from California, Kat Cox from Vermont, Carol from Connecticut, Annette from California. Wow, so many names. Let me see if I can go to the next page here. Okay, we also have uh, Laris from the UK. Amazing. Um, I'm probably missing some people. It keeps shuffling around, I'm noticing, so I'm losing track of where I am. But I just want to welcome everyone and welcome all the people that I haven't named yet. And let's see what's next. So, uh, I guess I would love to welcome in our song leader today, our song leader Doe. Yay! Hi! It's so great to have you on
Moon.
here. Yeah,
You. Glad to be here with you, my friend.
yeah. So, what song do you have for us today?
Yeah, I have a short song that has kind of come through recently. Doesn't have a title yet. And one of the words that's repeated most is sacred. So I wanted to give us just maybe a moment to think about that word and what that word means to us. From all the experiences that we have, our cultural experiences, and just really, yeah, sitting with that. What does that word mean? Because we're going to sing it a lot. Um, and so this is the song. I will also break it down. We'll do lots of repetition. We'll really be singing this song for a while. It goes like this. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. So that's the whole thing. This is a seed to plant in your heart. Try that. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. Your rest is sacred. So, this is a seed. When I'm singing that, I really vibrate seed in my throat. So try that. This is a seed to plant, same thing, plant in your heart. So try just seeing if you can, like, we'll sing it slower, but vibrate those words kind of in your throat, or see if you can feel them. So, this is a seed to plant in your heart. One more time. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred. Try that. The land is sacred on which you stand. Whole line. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing, try that. The water flowing is sacred. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. Couple more times. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. One more time. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. Is sacred.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Doe. Still soaking it in.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, what a beautiful message. I wonder if you want to speak to where this song emerged from.
Yeah, I would love to. So my process with song doesn't always feel like I'm intentionally writing. Sometimes it just feels like something drops in and I'll start just singing. And then if I keep singing it in repetition, it's like, oh, this is a song. Okay. Um, so this song, I think I was actually just like in the shower singing and it dropped in. And it was kind of a response to this call for submissions that my friend Connie Borchardt at Music That Makes Community and I have been working on. I'm an organizer and song leader with the Coalition to Dismantle the Doctrine of Discovery. And together, our organizations have been uh, working on a playlist of like songs that support the work of decolonization. And both of our organizations have a focus on the Christian church and really calling the Christian church into transformation. And so we're really oriented around the sacredness of land. I mean, this is really from indigenous worldviews, right, around the world, that the land is sacred. And we really see that within the, you know, the dominant culture today, like there's such a desecration of the land and our labor, right? And this has been throughout history, right? And it has roots in this Christian doctrine of discovery from 500 years ago that first basically sanctified racial hierarchy and exploitation of the land. And so there's this way that we have to go back and recognize that all the things that we're struggling with today have these very deep roots. The Christian church is we call them into accountability as the originator of these laws and policies of that enforce oppression today. And so we're like, but how do we actually change the culture, right? How do we actually call people in? And so song has such a power to do that, right? And so um, we have issued this call out to our, you know, artist friends, and I was like, well, what song wants to emerge through me in response to this prompt? And so this is what came through. And I really think of it as like I sing it to myself. I am so trying to integrate these messages, right, in my behavior towards others, in my behavior towards the land, right? Like, and I think I need to sing this over and over to myself to integrate it. Um, and so I've actually never tried singing it in a group. I've mostly just sung it to myself. And this phrase of like a pocket song, like a song that you just have in your pocket that you can like offer to a friend or sing to yourself in really hard moments. Like that's kind of how I think of this song.
Beautiful. Can you say more about the where this song is going, the playlist project, or what? I'd also just be curious to hear more about how that's gonna, where that's gonna go.
Yeah, and I think actually there's a link in the chat to the submission. So there's a lot more information on that call and
Great.
submission form. So yeah, welcome folks to submit. So what we're imagining is we're putting out this call for artists who really feel called to having their songs be used and contextualized through this frame of decolonization. So the final project will actually be this educational resource that has a lot of essays about like, well, how do we use these songs, right? Like, how do we, a big question is like, if this is a free resource, right, this is a gift. So how do we actually engage in responsibility to this gift, right? Like if these artists are allowing these songs to be sung, what responsibility do we owe to those artists and their sacred labor, right? And I think that's an active question. So there's a real act of trust in putting together this playlist and really seeing it as an educational resource that like does need to be out there in the world, does need to be calling people in to come alongside Indigenous peoples in their movements to protect the land and water. Because so often Indigenous communities around the world are in these like sacrifice zones due to extractive industry and the ongoing mining that we see really accelerating because of the green transition, right? All these technologies that we think, oh, they'll, help us with decarbonization, but they're adding so many other dimensions of harm to our planet. And so this is really like fundamentally we have to shift our attitudes and really like come into a process of decolonization. And we need songs for that, right? Like we really need the songs that are going to help us. We can't have cultural or structural change, right? Changing laws and policies of colonization without the cultural change to get there. And so we, in the coalition, we really see those things as dynamic. And there's, of course, a dimension of like personal change and transformation as well. Um,
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much, Doe. I'm keeping track of the time, but this is so fantastic. Oh, I just saw Joe's message. Yeah, is there anything else that you want to share before sharing this song for a final time?
um, we're going to sing it again for a while, I think, just to kind of fill up the rest of our
Beautiful.
time. And well, I think there's a potential maybe to get bored. And I think that that's actually good to lean into boredom sometimes. So, like, if you're like, oh, we've been singing this song for a while, like, maybe there's some kind of like movement or percussion or a harmony that you hear. And so, this question of like, maybe once we get bored, is there a different layer to keep going with? Or is there a different way that the words can sink in? And so, inviting your boredom as we sing this again and kind of keep engaging in this message and allowing that to be a place. Okay, so here we go. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred, your labor sacred, your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. One more time. This is a seed to plant in your heart. The land is sacred on which you stand. The water flowing is sacred. Your labor sacred. Your rest is sacred. Is sacred.
Wow. Beautiful song. Thank you so much, Doe.
Thank you, Moon. Thank you for hosting and inviting me.
Absolutely. It's so great to see you and to be able to share the amazing work that you're creating with all of these people. I'm glad to offer that.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone for singing along too. Really nice to see your faces singing.
Mhm. Yeah. So I guess for wrapping up, just want to offer another huge, huge gratitude to Doe and to all the people who've been doing tech today. And tomorrow is going to be Dan and Claudia Zane's song leading. And I'm going to pass it along to Joe now to do a couple of announcements. But so much gratitude. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure to host today. And thank you, Doe.
So thank you so much, Moon, and thank you so much, Doe. Doe, that was so incredibly beautiful, and I could have listened to you sing and talk for the rest of the day today. And I love the idea of like how you're using that to just say that to yourself and to try to remind yourself. I thought that was super powerful, a great way of talking about it. So I'm going to just say a few quick things, then I'm going to kick it back over to, whoops, okay, that didn't work, so I'm going to stop. Everybody can now see how messy my desktop is. Gonna try again. Let's see. Great. Okay. So I want to just make a couple quick announcements on June 20th. I know folks in this room have heard this several times already. For anybody out there on the live stream or anybody who's new today, we have a fundraiser on June 20th. We're doing a production of Deeper Than the Skin with Reggie Harris and Greg Greenway. They call it a musical presentation on race. It is music and so much more. Looking forward to having lots of folks join us. It's going to be online June 20th at 7 p.m. and kind of keeping with the way the Daily Antidote works. We are requesting donations, but donations will not be required. So it will be absolutely accessible to anybody who wants to watch it. Please join us in the Zoom room that day for the event. All of the information is online, and we will be making it available afterwards for additional donations or for additional folks who just would like to see it. So just be in touch if you miss it and want to see it afterwards. And for anybody who's in the DMV area, if you're interested in joining the in-person version, there are very few seats left, but just be in touch with me and we will see if we can get you there. And part two, so this is June 23rd, 7 p.m. And it's in fact why Dan and Claudia are performing in the room tomorrow. They're performing in support of this event. We want to have anybody who's in the DMV area come. We're producing this in collaboration with Smithsonian Folkways, Folklore Society of Greater Washington, and the Washington Ethical Society. It is a CD release party in celebration of the posthumous release of Sonia Cohen Kramer's Folkways CD, You've Been a Friend to Me. Sonia was a friend to very, very many. So the concert will be Dan and Claudia Zanes, Elizabeth Mitchell, and Daniel Littleton. All of them are Folkways recording artists and Grammy awardees. And just want to say we are nearly positive we're going to be able to make that available also after the fact as a recording. So please stay tuned for more info on that. And Moon, I would toss it to you to say the goodbyes if you like. But if you're feeling over-moonedly whelmed and you want me to do the goodbyes, just say so. But you've been doing a great job on your first host, and I'm really glad you're with us.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Another practice run. Okay, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Doe. Goodbye, Arlene. Goodbye, Aaron, Susan, Candace, Dan Walker, Sue Miller. Goodbye, Annette, Hoda, Trish, Caroline, Bonnie Boys, Sheila, Storm, Maybell, Martha, Anne, Bryn, Becky, Jamie, Aloysius, apologies again, Bob, Kat, Sue Miller. Oops, some of the names are showing up again. Here we go, back into the shuffle. Bob, Kat, Carol, Anne, there's another Bob, Donna, Luis, Diane, and apologies if I've missed anybody, but thank you all so much. So great to see you today. Have a lovely Sunday.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. And thanks again to Doe for that beautiful music and to Moon for great hosting. And Moon, just a little FYI, it is Aloysius. And we have a lot of different pronunciations of Aloysius all the time. He's very used to it. And thanks again to everybody for being here. I hope to see you all tomorrow for Dan and Claudia Zanes, and for more smiles, more community, more thoughtfulness, and more of everything that we all bring to the table here every day. Lots of love, gang.